June 7th, right?
Yes, Chair, July.
July. Greeting, everyone. Welcome to the July 7th, 2025 Board of Selectmen, Highway Commissioners, Cemetery Commissioners. As part of the season, I guess we're Beach Commissioners. Chairman's note, this meeting is being recorded. First order of business, Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to go off script for a minute. I want to welcome Christopher Stashevsky, our newest member to the board. Those of you that have children of a certain age would know Mr. Stashevsky as a former principal at the middle school, and those of you that come to the town meeting would recognize him as our soon-to-be former moderator. I'd like to give Mr. Stashevsky a couple of moments if he has anything he'd like to say.
Thanks, Mr. Sullivan. Appreciate the opportunity to serve the town of Dudley in this capacity. Looking forward to continue maintaining strong connections with the community and give my kids a stronger place to continue to live. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. It's a nice audience in my first meeting.
We're all here for you.
Oh, I doubt that.
Before we move on behalf of the board, I'd like to send our sympathies to the family of Richard Dick Orsini. Mr. Orsini was a auxiliary police officer. I believe he was a captain on the reserves and a special police officer. He was very active in other endeavors such as Knights of Columbus. If anybody knew Mr. Orsini, his family, his son David, was on the fire department. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I send our sympathies to their family. Next up, reorganization of the board. Following the June 16th local election, the Board of Selectmen vote to reorganize, take any other action relative thereto. Chair will facilitate nominations and votes for the board chair, vice chair, clerk of the board. At this time, without objection, the chair will open up nominations for the chair to serve from 2025 to 2026. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Janet DeShane as chairman of this board.
There's a nomination. Is there a second?
Second.
Does she accept?
Yes.
Any further nominations for chair? Close the nomination for chair. Call to a vote. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I'm just going to facilitate the next two roles, and she will take over. Chair will entertain a motion for vice chair of the board for the term of 2025 through 2026 election.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for Vice Chair Jason Johnson.
Mr. Sigenovich with a nomination of Jay Johnson. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Thasevsky. Mr. Johnson, do you accept?
I do.
Close. Any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, we'll close nominations. Call to a vote. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next up, clerk of the board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Christopher Starcheski for clerk of the board.
Nomination.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Mr. Stashevsky, do you accept?
Yes.
Any other nominations for clerk of the board? Hearing none, call it out to a vote. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Congratulations, everybody.
You could not wait.
Well, if I was a little early, I might have had it set up that way already.
Okay. So moving on to item 3, citizens' comments. Do we have anyone in the room that would like to make a comment that's about something that's not on the agenda for this evening? Seeing none. Moving on to number 4, we have a resignation for Randy Becker of the Government Study Committee.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
make a motion we accept with regret the nomination of Randy Becker from the Government Study Committee. The appointment, I mean.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we also, sorry. No, I was going to say,
Opposed or abstained? Unanimous. Okay.
we also have the town administrator, although the committee only met one time, just sending Mr. Becker a letter thanking him for his interest in the committee on behalf of the town.
We'll do that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you.
Okay. Point number 5, so appointments and reappointments. First up, we have Robin Fricall for the Government Study Committee, appointment from an alternate member to a full member.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Is she
favor?
present?
Discussion?
Is she present? Okay.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Moving on. So, Part B, Board of Selectmen votes to appoint one member to the South Worcester County Communication Center Board of Directors. I believe in the past, this has been Mr. Sullivan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Madam Chair, it's been Mr. Sullivan with Mr. Siganovich as the alternate. And we can either elect to continue on with that if they so choose to continue on with those two roles, or nominate and appoint two different members to serve.
What's the board's pleasure?
I mean, if the board so desires, I'm willing to stay on that committee. They generally meet once a month or so during the day, in the morning, usually late morning. If the board desires, I'll continue. If somebody else wants it, I'll step aside.
Mr. Sullivan has excellent attendance. I have no issue being the alternate. And I mean that as a compliment, Mr. Sullivan.
Oh, thank you.
You show up. You really do.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion? Oh,
So moved.
perfect. Second?
Second.
Fabulous. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, moving it along. So Board of Selectmen votes to appoint one alternate member to the South Worcester County Communication Center Board of Directors.
Nominate Mr. Siganovich.
That's Carrie.
Second?
Second.
Perfect. So Mr. Siganovich for alternate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, next up, Board of Selectmen votes to appoint one member of the Capital Improvement Planning Committee.
Madam Chair, right now I believe it's Mr. Johnson that serves in that role, and that's the bylaw appointment of a member of the Board of Selectmen to the Capital Improvement Committee.
Mr. Johnson so desires, Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate him to continue in that role.
Second.
Do you accept?
I accept.
Nailed it.
You're killing it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Last up, we have Board of Selectmen votes to appoint two full-time police officers.
Good evening.
Keep
Good evening, Chief.
As I mentioned last week, last Board of Selectmen meeting, we had two vacancies for the full-time positions. We conducted an interview through command staff and came up with two recommendations for the board. Scott Crevier and Jeff Forcier. Both of them have extensive experience in law enforcement that they bring to the table. Scott has over 27 years of law enforcement experience, including 20 years with Connecticut State Police, where he was involved with the major crimes unit. He was a detective there. And the last 7 years with Sturbridge Police. Jeff brings over 20 years of combined law enforcement experience. The last 12 years with Sturbridge. Prior experience also include as a lieutenant with the Holland Police, also at Assumption College, Brookfield Police, and Wales PD. Both have military background, both post-certified without any issues. And one of the biggest things is they bring a lot of experience and a lot of specialty certifications to the table, that they're trained, they're experienced, they will provide guidance to some of our young officers, and they're excited to a new chapter in their lives to come to Dudley, and that shows a lot that our police department has a lot to offer, where you have two veteran officers coming into our town and showing interest to joining our police department. And again, they have a lot of experience. They use the same computer system that we use here as they did with Sturbridge. They're local from the area, and I'm excited to pick them up. I think it was a win-win for us, for our town. So I would recommend that Scott and Jeff be appointed conditionally starting July 15th based on their background check and medical check. and they're here if the board has any questions for them.
Any questions?
I'd also concur with that recommendation. I've spoken to the chief extensively about their background, and it's good. I think they're a great pickup for the town.
Not so much a question, Madam Chair, just like to hear from the two candidates and
Sure. My name is Scott. I live in Woodstock. I recently moved there. That's kind of one of the little aspects that drew me closer to Dudley and everything, the professionalism and their style of policing with the community. It seems like the town's behind them and everything like that. But 15-year-old daughter as well that attends Woodstock Academy. And she's very excited about the same opportunity for myself as I am here. Look forward to it.
Jeff Forcier, born and raised in Southbridge and Charlton. So I went to elementary school at Shepherd Hill a long time ago. So I do have some ties to the community. And same thing, it's life is about opportunity and timing, and this just happened to be, both of them fell right in, and looking forward to getting back to working in the smaller community and just looking for the change.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, that was my question. I'm good.
Perfect. Well, thank you both. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to accept the appointment of Mr. Forcier and, oh my goodness, Mr. Greedier. So
moved.
thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
both.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Looking forward to it.
Sure.
Welcome.
I'm gonna probably do a picture.
Welcome.
No, don't go too far.
Yeah, bring some family members up if you want, pictures.
I'm in the back, so you guys stay in the front.
Behind the chairs.
Oh, yeah. That's usually
Just never gets old, does it?
All good?
You're good, don't worry about it.
Okay,
We'll fit in.
I'll stand up like this.
just a little bit. Perfect. See? Thank
I think I
you.
have my eyes
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Number 6, public business. Board of Selectmen vote to right of first refusal vote under MGL Chapter 61A, 21 acres at 90 Marsh Road, Book 50375, page 5. Board of Selectmen votes to waive right of first refusal or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Town Administrator. Or
Madam Chair, I believe this is a continuation of the last meeting. I believe we scheduled this meeting specifically to take a vote on this because the board was requiring more proof of funds and potentially an acceptable agreement between the parties before taking any further action.
Great.
Good
Mr.
evening.
Lombardi. Good evening.
Do you want to state my name again for the record?
Yes, please.
Attorney Frank Lombardi. I'm representing the owner of the land, Leonard Antos.
Lee Joseph from Caldwell Banker, the listing agent on the property.
Can you just slide, attorney, that mic more closer to you? The people in the back, I see people kind of leaning.
Is that any better?
You better back there?
Well, can't tell when nobody's speaking.
Close. Somebody gave us, one person gave a thumbs up.
So, do you want to start?
Yes, please.
So I did have, since the last meeting, a number of discussions with my client regarding
the waiver of first refusal, and the potential assignment that the land trust is requesting. My client, he has instructed me to move forward and request the waiver. He did not necessarily agree to acquiesce in an assignment, so we're still asking for the waiver. I do have some stuff that I kind of jotted down. It's not compendium of all 61A knowledge. It's some additional information and some restatement of some of the items that I think we discussed on the last meeting. So first, I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. The property was originally, and my understanding is, approved by the Board of Assessors in 2003 as 61A land. There's never been a lien recorded against the property under Chapter 61A. For whatever reason, there was a mistake or it got put in a file. I spent a number of hours looking for the lien, and then after a couple of conversations with the assessor's office, they pulled the old file and found that it was sitting there. I don't think it was this assessor's fault or anything like that, just a mistake. So the way that we looked at it is that the property was being taxed under 61A. I think that, we did have some discussions that we could push back and just ask for the rollback taxes, because there's really no lien to enforce against the property. But we felt that it was the right thing to do and come in front of the board and ask for the waiver in good faith. And so that's why that we did it that way versus just trying to fight City Hall, so to speak. So second point, and I didn't realize this at the first meeting, is that the town in 2022, you guys did an open space report. I don't know if you're aware of the report, if everyone's seen the report. I'm sure that you've kind of seen it all. Right now, you have, unless you've released other 61A land since 2022, I mean, you guys have almost 4,000 acres of 61A land in the town of 14,000 acres. You have more than 25% of your land in 61A. And between, open space, protected land, conservation land, and trust land, you're close to 5,000 acres of land. It's over a third of your town is in a reduced tax situation. So, I'm sure, I know you guys don't have, as you stated last meeting, you don't have any funds to buy the land, but this would not be, releasing this from 61A would not be in a tremendous impact. And even the report conclusion said that, future progress in economic development, there's so much land inventory that it's not gonna in any way detract from the current rural charm of the town. And that's from the report. That's not me at all. And then next point, I want to just kind of reiterate the timeline that we kind of went over. I think we talked about this a little bit. Some of the board members asked us and the land trust. We originally put this, we originally listed the property for sale on September 8th in 2024. The original list price for that was $895,000. In April of this year, the seller agreed to do a price change and lowered that down to $795,000. So after that price change, and Lee can attest to exactly, that's when we started to get multiple offers on the property. And I think 5 offers, you said.
5 offers.
Some of them were of higher price, but included additional planning board or other contingencies that my client didn't want to entertain. So on May 4th, we received an offer for the current buyer on the property for the $635,000. It was a cash offer with the only contingency in making sure that the property wasn't in 61A. So that's, otherwise we would probably have closed already if that was the case. My client accepted the offer on the 5th, and none of those 5 offers were from the land trust in any way. There was some conversations between the land trust and Lee, but there was none of those 5 offers were from the land trust. It was only after the price reduction that we started to receive multiple offers on the property. Just from the seller, my conversations with the seller, some of his input that he wanted me to bring to the table tonight. Once he accepted that offer on the 5th, he relied on that offer and started to finalize plans for him to move out of the area. He's moving down to Florida, I believe. So he has a current contract on a piece of property down there. His partner has a job that starts next Monday in there, and all of these things where he relied on selling this property in order to do those things. So right now he kind of feels like he's, I don't say he was held hostage, but he's at a standstill until this can get resolved in some way. And prior to listing it and during listing, I did talk with him about whether or not this has been a family farm. I think his grandfather originally bought it. His parents farmed it. It was a kind of a cow pasture until his father got sick. And then the coolest, whatever the farm is south of that, they hayed the fields at no cost to anybody for them. So Antos allowed them to hay the fields for them for free. So he had mentioned to me that during his parents' lifetime and prior to listing, that there was never any kind of serious conversation or negotiation about them further conserving the land. It's 61A, it was agricultural, they're using it for agricultural purposes. That was the whole idea for them. So, and part of the reason why he wants to continue to seek the waiver instead of an assignment, like I said, he essentially feels that his life is on hold. He does have concerns given the timelines. If we were to follow the statute, the way the statute's written, is that we would have to come to a new agreement with whoever you decided to assign, if you decided to assign your rights to, and then they would have 90 days after closing according to the statute. So he's ready to move. The buyer's attorney has indicated to me that they can probably close as early as Thursday. I'm not sure if that's completely realistic, but that's what he said, that it's a cash deal, and the buyer's ready to go this week. Essentially, he's all ready to go. Just want to make sure I get everything. One of the things the seller kind of did mention to me is that the property's been on the market for 8.5, 9 months before he got under agreement. There was plenty of opportunity from a number of parties to come and try to negotiate, and it wasn't until this now that this kind of came up. So, and from his view, and I would probably say this is not necessarily uncommon, and I'm sure you see this, is that his parents had this farm. The land is worth a certain value. I mean, this is essentially an inheritance for him. Like, this is his ability to kind of be taken care of through his, through this. It wasn't like he was left a lot of cash in the bank, and then this is above and beyond that. So, he definitely views it in that way. So, that's all I really wanted to say, I guess, at this point. I hope if you had anything to add.
I went over the timeline last time, which I hope was helpful, because I think it came across that there was no communication or very little communication between the land trust and me. And, basically I outlined from the time it was listed in September, Heather from the land trust called, having personal interest with her husband and son starting in January. And, multiple conversations between me and Heather and emails, and then also with Keith. And every time I pursued them to see if they had interest in the property, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the funding. Lenny would have sold to anybody that gave him the best price and the best conditions. He wasn't against selling to the land trust. It's just that they never made an offer. They never came forward and said, this is what we'll pay, and this is how we'll get it done.
I just want to, my client doesn't have any animosity towards the land trust. It's not, it's just, this is the opportunity, and he doesn't want to delay it any further. That's what it really comes down to.
Questions from the board? Mr. Sikanovich?
Nope.
My question is did we know about, we didn't know about this before this, did we? That it wasn't recorded?
No.
Okay. So we don't have input from town council on this, correct?
No.
Personally, I'd like to see input on town council before we do anything. I don't want to do the wrong thing.
Well, the
This is
reason why
kind
we're
of-
here is because we don't want to do the wrong thing. So it's just a matter of, there's an unrecorded lien. we're still gonna pay the rollback taxes, we're still gonna do everything. It's just there won't be a release recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Mr. Duncan?
Madam Chair, I believe we're in the risk-averse method, not at risk.
Could the board please speak up? It's very hard to understand what you're saying.
Absolutely. We're in a risk-averse situation. We're not an at-risk situation. The seller is trying to do the right thing in the absence of possibly some clarity on some documentation. He's assuming that it was done correctly as opposed to not being done correctly and trying to just sell it without any waiver. Is that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
And if we were gonna, and then the only reason why I bring that up is because we're not taking the position like, hey, you didn't do this right, so we're now gonna do whatever we want. We're still, I still, sent out, the notice of intent and everything like it was recorded. And I've talked to the assessor is going to calculate the rollback tax on that. There just won't be a release for the assessor to record. And that's all it really comes down to. And my point wasn't the fact that there's something going on that would hurt the town. I just wanted, the point I want to make is that we're here because we're doing the right thing.
Mr. Sullivan?
So essentially, you're treating this process as if it was 61A.
Yeah. I mean, they've been taxed under 61A, so we're treating it that way.
The rollback is 5 years, right?
Rollback's 5 years. I think, I don't know the exact amount. My guess is it's like $4,000, something like that. It's not a huge amount.
But you could easily say, never got recorded, so
Never got recorded.
This whole thing is moot.
I mean, we could have taken that position and just asked for not done this.
Mr. Siganovich?
I'd still like to get an opinion from town council before I would vote to waive anything, because I'm not an attorney, and I don't know if I just don't know the ends, ifs, or buts. I don't want to assume anything. We've got a room full of people here, so I'm taking a guess here that people want a certain outcome, and I don't know. I'm not ready to waive anything without input from town council. That's just me speaking, not for the board, just me.
Mr. Sullivan?
So, in the scenario Attorney Lombardi laid out, we can conceivably, we have a bunch of options, but I'm assuming Mr. Siganovich is looking for a town council, which would delay us. What would prevent Attorney Lombardi's client from just saying, thanks for having the 2 meetings, I appreciate you guys working with me, but I don't need your permission to sell my land? I mean, he indicated he doesn't want to go down that path, but is that a viable option?
I'm not looking to start a legal battle by any means. I just want to make an informed decision, because I don't know if knowledge of the lien is enough, or if it has to be recorded, or if the knowledge of it is enough. I don't know. I don't know. And I respect Attorney Lombardi, but he's not our attorney. That's my point.
Mr. Kirkland?
So Keith Kirkland, president of the Dudley Land Trust. I just want to touch upon a couple of things. So Lee and I did speak. We did have verbal discussions on what we thought the Land Trust could do. It was mainly giving us time to fundraise because we had another project going on. I think Lee could certainly sense we really wanted this property because it's for so many reasons, but there was no movement on the price. We certainly felt that it's something, in the sixes wasn't something that could happen, certainly not right away. So we had to, we didn't put anything in writing. But here we are. We now know it's available for $635,000. if Mr. Antos, is concerned that he just wants to move on with his life, I mean, we can write a check in a day, 2 days for it, subject to at least us knowing. We have yet to see a property description to know exactly what is for sale. We want to make sure that we're capturing the entire property. And then the point about 61A and the fact that Dudley has lots of open space. We do have a decent amount, but 61A I don't feel should really be counted necessarily in that equation, because as we know, it can slip away into development very quickly just by paying 5 years of rollback taxes. I think if you take out all the 61A land, we're about 18% protected land in Dudley. And most of that is APR land, and then you've got Audubon and the Dudley Land Trust. So I think 18% sounds like a good number, but I think the lands in Dudley, the open spaces are, I think, what draws a lot of people to live here, and especially on this spot here, being a scenic road. I don't know if any of you folks have gone on Marsh Road and driven it or walked it. It's pretty special, and to just see 9 houses marching down the road, I think would break a lot of people's hearts. So I guess I'm appealing to the seller and the seller's attorney and broker that here we are at $635,000. We can buy the property. We can probably move quicker if you want to hold us to a time frame. Obviously, just in terms of we have to see a P&S and actually see the property description. But other than that, we can move fast, probably faster than any other way. We've got a lot of people behind here who care about this land, care about Dudley. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I think a lot of us are going to regret seeing those houses up there. I mean, I know it can be homes for people, and I don't discourage people from owning a home. We all own a home. But I think there's a place for it, and sometimes there's places where it shouldn't be. So I don't know if I have any other comments, other than if you want to mention anything.
Yeah, that was filed.
Yeah.
So I believe we could get in touch with our attorney.
That's correct, Madam Chair. If you can call a brief recess, I can call Jeff Blake right now.
To check on the 61A question?
Correct.
Okay. And I think that's probably what we should do at this moment.
What I'll do is I'll make sure we're doing it correctly with the open meeting law. I'm
Yep.
going to call him, see how we should handle it, and I'll let you know, and we'll proceed from there.
Perfect. Okay, then let's take a brief recess so you can do that, and then we'll come right back to this conversation. Thank you so much for your patience. So, all right, let's call us back into session.
7:40?
At 7:40, thank you so much. All right, cool. So, Heather, before we broke and spoke with we didn't have a chance to hear from you. I didn't know if you had any comments you wanted to make.
Sure. Heather Radcliffe.
Here.
In regards to the timeline, we seem to be stuck on the fact that an actual offer was not made. And I just want to reiterate that throughout the whole process of any real estate transaction, there are negotiations that are happening behind the doors, right? And you don't put in an offer until you have an actual amount that you're knowing you're agreeing to. So I just want to be clear on that we have always been interested in this, and we are telling you we have the money and can write a check and it can go through in 2 days, which is less than the Thursday that we're hearing from the buyer. But also it's important to know that we came to the table and have been acting in good faith. Keith and our attorney have been working with Lenny's attorney in terms of, after the last meeting, you told us, get to the table yourselves and figure out how to make this work. And that's what we were doing. We presented them with, here's the money, we're ready to go. We had a board meeting of the land trust where everyone agreed we will essentially empty our bank accounts because this land is so important. This is a scenic road, this is quintessential Dudley, and it's very important to our community. The quoting of the open space plan saying that we have 20% land in 61A, the open space plan also says that some of these 61A lands actually should be relooked at because they are not lands that are being used agriculturally. People are taking advantage of that. And while that's very unfortunate, the plan also says that the town should look at that and perhaps see which of those lands are actually being used as 61A lands. We know that this family has used that as 61A lands for over 25 years. Whether or not this was recorded is an error that should be corrected, especially if there was paperwork found. But the lien not being recorded is not our fault. It is not something that should be held against us when we are following the statute, as it clearly lays out that the land can go to a conservation organization such as ourselves, who are very interested, as are many of our community members behind us and many of those who could not join us and would like to also be heard. So we really hope that you will take that into consideration, and we know that whatever your town council has told you, which I know you will tell us, it's important for you to know that this land is very important, and if this is a problem, we are willing to keep going on this, and we don't want to let it go. So as I said, we can write a check and have Lenny have it in 2 days. So we're good to go on that, and I hope that you heard everything we said last meeting in terms of what's important, and I hope that you'll recognize some of the people behind me that have important things to say as well.
Sir? Yep, you've been waiting quite a while. Come on up.
Thank you. Some of you know me, most of you probably don't. My name's Larry
Take your hat off,
Antos.
sir.
What?
If you could take your hat off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I own the property across the street. My mother and father
Larry, here I said it.
Oh, he did. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I didn't.
bought the farm in 1998 after a 7-year battle in court with my father's brother and sisters to keep it as a farm instead of selling it off for development. He went into debt. He worked 3 years extra at Jamesbury Corp to keep it as a farm. And my mother was doing renovations, putting new siding on to protect the homestead, is what she would say. They never wanted houses there. The only possible house was either for me or my brother. And they took out 2 acres for him to build a house, and he never did. So when his attorney said what he said, it wasn't exactly true. And I'm not criticizing him because he only knows what his client told him. I'm telling you what went on because I lived it. I lost more than you can ever imagine. Lost the whole side of the family except for my Uncle John. Everybody else sided against us because they wanted the farm for the money. And they set a price on it, and he met it and put himself into debt. Now you have an opportunity. You're taking it away from the Antoses, but you're giving it to the land trust, which is a very good thing. So that's about all I have to say. I would have loved to bought it, but he told me $850, the price is the price. So I really don't have much else to add other than let's keep the road the way it was. When Martha's parents lived there, remember